Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, AirVenture commemorates Doolittle Raid's 75th anniversary. DOT IG to audit FAA drone waiver program. And T-45 Goshawks are flying again. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's April 20th, 2017, and this is Airborne Unlimited. The lone remaining veteran of the famed Doolittle Raiders mission of April 1942 and at least 16 B-25 bombers will be a part of the Raid's 75th anniversary commemoration and air show activities at EAA AirVenture Oshkosh 2017. The 65th annual EAA fly-in will be held July 24th through 30th. The 75th anniversary activities will honor those involved in the daring mission that involved 16 B-25 bombers that departed from the aircraft carrier USS Hornet on April 18, 1942, and bombed military sites in Japan. The Doolittle Raiders, led by legendary pilot Jimmy Doolittle, then faced hardships after their airplanes made forced landings in China and other areas. Among the highlights of the 75th anniversary commemoration will be a July 26 evening program with 101-year-old Dick Cole, the co-pilot for Doolittle in the lead aircraft and the only remaining member of the 80 original Doolittle Raiders, as well as Jimmy Doolittle's grandchildren. Cole said, "I want to thank EAA for honoring the Raiders at their 75th anniversary. Thank you for paying tribute to us even though we never felt like heroes. We were just doing our job. We can also never forget the men who fought at Wake Midway and all across the Pacific. See you at Oshkosh." The Office of Inspector General is initiating an audit of the FAA's approval and oversight processes for UAS waivers. FAA published a new rule governing the use of small UAS in June 2016. However, the rule does not permit several potential uses for UAS that are highly valued by industry, such as operating beyond the line of sight or at night. The rule, however, does allow operators to apply for waivers from its provisions. The DOTIG's objectives will be to assess FAA's processes for 1. Granting waivers under the rule for small UAS operations, and 2. Conducting risk-based oversight of UAS operators with waivers. Matthew E. Hampton, Assistant Inspector General for Aviation Audits, said it is important that FAA's waiver approval process does not result in prolonged delays, especially for operations already considered to be a low safety risk by the agency. Hampton said that it is still unclear what type of oversight FAA will provide for this new technology, as we found that FAA lacks a robust data reporting and tracking system for UAS activity, and aviation safety inspectors receive limited training and guidance on UAS oversight. Hampton said that the audit will begin later this month. After the break, T-45s are flying again.
Explore no-limits flying in the FAA-certified Sea Ray Amphibious LSA, one of the top 3 best-selling LSAs in the U.S. Progressive Aerodyne Sea Ray comes equipped with a Rotax engine and exhibits extraordinary handling on land, water, and in the air. Check it out at www.searay.com.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulation.com.
Build and fly with the most exciting line of kit aircraft on the market, the Sonex Aircraft B models. The B models offer more room and comfort, more fuel, more panel space, more engine choices, and the same great Sonex Aircraft flight characteristics. Learn more at sonexaircraft.com.
Welcome back. If you'd have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, the new AMA drone report, our website or podcast, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. Vice Admiral Mike Shoemaker, Commander, Naval Air Forces, announced April 15th that the operational pause for the T-45C would be lifted. Flight operations resumed this week using a modified mast successfully tested by Naval Air Systems Command that circumvents the aircraft's onboard oxygen generator system. Initially, instructor pilots will conduct warm-up flights, after which they will brief the remaining pilots and students in their squadrons on use of the modified equipment. As the week progresses, all instructor pilots will complete their warm-up flights, followed by warm-ups and training flights for student pilots. Shoemaker explained, after briefings and discussions with our aircrew, their training wing leadership, the engineers and aeromedical experts, we have identified a way forward to resume flight operations safely by limiting the maximum cabin altitude to below 10,000 feet in order to be able to operate without using OBOG's system. In addition to the Integrated Project Team and Aeromedical Crisis Action Team, the congressionally mandated independent review team, sourced from NASA, recently visited Naval Air Station Meridian as part of an ongoing independent review of psychological episodes. It's Thursday, which means that it's time for an Aero Community Update, highlighting news and information about the incredible people and organizations that populate the Airborne Partnership Initiative behind Airborne Unlimited. The world's greatest gathering of all things unmanned will get expert live coverage. AUVSI and ANN have confirmed a multi-hour live interview program series on Day 2 and Day 3 of Exponential 2017, set for May 8th through 11th in Dallas, Texas. The broadcast will be conducted, shared, and viewed as a live webcast as well as archived for future viewing and use. Following coverage of the opening day, Airborne will webcast live interviews on the second and third day of the event. The session will consist of 10 to 12 short interviews with the best and brightest of XPO 17. Webcast live via www.airborne-live.net. Social media programs will support the effort, take questions from the Expo audience, and make programming announcements. AUVSI and ANN are building a guest and interview topic list now. Suggestions for the program are welcome and may be submitted via jim@aero-news.net until May 1st, 2017. After these messages, Allstate mobilizes drone fleet.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
The Bristol Light Sport aircraft is what you are looking for. The Bristol is wider than a Cirrus, faster than a Skyhawk, offers more storage than a Husky, and comes standard with Garmin avionics. So what are you waiting for? Visit Bristol.com to find out how you can get into a Bristol today.
With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing a few of those other great stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. As storm season approaches, Allstate Insurance is set to use drones for assessment of property damage claims across 4 states. The fleet of drones will be at the ready in Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas to help respond after any storms this spring. The multi-state launch is Allstate's largest use of drones to date. A Cygnus cargo vessel was successfully launched Tuesday morning at the opening of the launch window at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral. The orbital ATK cargo ship was boosted into orbit atop an Atlas V rocket carrying more than 7,600 pounds of science experiments and crew supplies bound for the International Space Station. ICAO continued its efforts to bolster worldwide aviation training capacity during the recently held 4th ICAO Global Aviation Training and Train Air Plus Symposium in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The event, hosted by Ethiopian Airlines and continuing from April 11th through 13th, is the first ICAO Global Aviation Training Symposium to take place on the African continent. The FAA has issued a special airworthiness information bulletin concerning procedural changes for detecting corrosion damage to the aft fuselage structure in the area of the vacuum waste tanks on Boeing 737, 747, 757, 767, and 777 airplanes. Flying car manufacturer PAL-V recently started the sales of its commercial models, the Liberty Pioneer and Liberty Sport. The first commercial flying car in the world is now a fact, and a scale model of the production vehicle will be unveiled at Top Marks 2017. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now, let's get back to the rest of the news. The NTSB has released its prelim from an accident which occurred on April 8 at about 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Sanford, Florida. A Piper PA-12 supercruiser on its first flight since a major restoration was destroyed by impact and fire after takeoff. The airline transport pilot flying the plane was fatally injured. Folks, this was a friend of some of us at A&N and a good man, but let us relate a detail from the preliminary report that should not be allowed to be repeated ever again. According to a witness, the airplane accelerated normally for takeoff, pitched up, and continued to pitch up until a full stall, rolled to the right and nosed in on right side of 27L. All flight control surfaces, ailerons, flaps, rudder, elevators, and trimmable horizontal stabilizer were attached to their respective attach points. But manipulation of the elevator control cables revealed that a nose-up control stick input resulted in a nose-down deflection of the elevator and vice versa. Further examination revealed that the elevator control cables were improperly rigged such that they were attached to the incorrect opposite locations on the upper and lower elevator control horn. A control check could have prevented this tragedy. It is truly a loss. We cannot stress this enough. Pre-flight. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited stream daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest in aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Keep flying. We'll see you tomorrow.